right. I pressed the go live button. Oh, of course. Always when we go live,
try
you
to
gotta.
get it in before the go live. Come on.
Oh my goodness.
Give a
Fluis
fella a chance.
Flemis Wallace.
Jeez. Flemis Maximus.
That would be your Roman name. Is he a warrior? No, but he coughs up a lot of stuff. I think it's working. And we're live. Lewis, let me see if I can read your mind.
I'm sitting here looking at it. I'm waiting.
You want the tweet. You want to get your hands on that tweet action.
I need it. I can't do anything until I get it.
I know. You're an addict. That's okay. This one's gonna take you to where you want to go.
I'm sure.
This is the big one.
Oh man.
This is the one you've been waiting for. This is
I hope you mean the big one, not like Fred Sanford big one.
Fred Sanford?
Remember Fred Sanford?
No, I can't say that to you.
I guess I'm showing my age. Have you ever seen a TV Guide?
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's been a while.
You never watched Sanford and Son?
No. Oh, is that what it's from? No, I never did. Said now. Oh
I
man,
love that
hold
show.
on. I gotta edit this tweet because it put the frickin' YouTube thing right at the top.
Oh yeah. Let's be sure to include the cast link.
Hey, you know what, Lewis?
That was a little sad last week. We had all kinds of problems last week.
That's only the second time or third time that's happened to me. So I think that's pretty good. Out of 600 episodes. And
600. I'm sorry. Did you say 600 episodes?
600. I can't say with 100% certainty that is actually the number that we're on, but that's what my show notes say. So I'm going with it. And I know that we're gonna have people piling in because this news week has been so exciting. They can't wait to hear us talk about new features coming to iOS 17 photos. Oh, and then there's Vision Pro. People just love to hear about Vision Pro SDK. Not the actual final product, Vision Pro. They want to hear about the SDK. So it's going to be a big one. I don't see anyone coming through. Oh, what's this doing on the chat? I don't know if this is working or not, but I think we should just go ahead and get the show rolling. What do you guys say? They'll roll in soon.
Bold move.
Go for it.
Okay, we got Fieldy here. Good night from London, Govs. Cheerio, Albane. It's funny when we start later that we get people from different time zones starting to join us. That's
rolling
pretty cool.
In from the pubs.
Yeah, right? Yeah, what time is it in the UK? They're like 9 hours ahead of us, right?
12:30, I think.
Holy moly, Fieldy's up late. Okay, well, Mrs. D.
12:20 a.m.
She also likes to stay up late. I think you know why. Oh, Mrs. D. Mrs. D, I heard that you also like to stay up late. You're a night owl. Oh, yes. What do you like to watch movies or something? Oh, no, I'm usually making love to El Katie. You got to get that loop cam set up. Man, I walked right into that, Lewis. I walked right into that. Every time I forget that that's where it's going to go. She really has a thing for El Caney. I mean, I miss
quite a way
El
with words, too.
Mrs. D, if you don't mind, none of us want to be grossed out by your escapades with El Caney. We want to just get to the show. So if you don't mind, I'll get the music queued up here. And let me see here. We'll get this thing rolling. In 3, 2. Hello, and welcome to CultCast, the best 30-plus minute Apple conversation you're going to hear all week long. I'm your host, Airflow Elijah. Join me today. He enjoys watching mobster movies to gain inspiration on ways that he can properly motivate the Cultimac writing staff. He's the managing editor of Cultimac. Lewis Wallace is here.
Hello.
Also with us each morning after breakfast, he puts on his ghillie suit. Camo stick paints his face in case Lewis Wallace comes looking for him and he needs to make a quick exit. He's the newest writer of Cultimac. Griffin Jones is here.
It's hard to believe that the three of us have been doing this show for 600 episodes, isn't it?
Yeah. Boy, time really flies. You know, it feels like just yesterday we were doing this show with you, Griffin.
Mm-hmm. You know, it took us a while to get into the swing of things. Like, 578, 589 or so, before I really got good. But, here we are, almost 12 years,
That's right.
just the
That's
three of
right.
us.
Sadly, I don't know if you're coming in at the best time of the show or the worst. I'm not sure. It could, it could go
Wow.
either way. Lewis, I always say this, and I genuinely mean this. I don't know if the show's getting better or getting worse. We've been in it for so long that I just don't know anymore. And I barely remember what the show was like. I just know that, when we started, it was wilder times. Everyone was younger. We had Alex E. Heath on, going to the bathroom live on air. And then that started happening to
Jeez.
El Caney, but his was involuntary. He just lost control.
Oh, jeez. Ugh. Highlights, Lily. I should go back and listen to episode 1.
Yeah, I should too. And
Might be terrifying.
And be depressed at how good it was. It's like, wow, show was great. What happened? Oh man. All right, everyone. Well, welcome to the show, and what a show we have for you. You want to know what we got on the dock here? Fine, I'll tell you. Okay, you can figure out if you want to stick around, but I think you're gonna want to. So we're gonna talk about this new development with the new EU regulations. Normally we wouldn't talk about these, but this is some of the biggest news that we've had come out for iPhone and iPad, maybe ever. And it's round 2 of the EU v. Apple, making Apple do things that they really probably would rather not do, but for many consumers is going to make them happy. And there is a change, I think, almost definitely coming to iPhone because of this these EU regulations, that it's going to make it a lot easier for you to change the battery on your iPhone and iPad, which of course obviously now is like completely impossible. You're going to destroy your phone if you even attempt, even with Apple's self repair kit at home. We're also going to talk about some of the cool new features that are coming to the Vision Pro. They just released the dev kit, and we'll talk a little bit about that. Lewis is going to give some stuff away. I'm going to talk about some cool new features coming to the Photos app in iOS 17 that may spin off into a rant about how iCloud storage still has not increased, and I'm trying to figure out how to store all my photos because I'm almost out of space and I refuse to pay for Apple One out of principle alone. And we've got some new we got a new feature coming to HomePod that's going to give you some more options on how you listen to music. And then we're going to wrap up the show with a little discussion on what the most popular Macs are. This is a story that we just published on Cult of Mac. And I didn't actually look too much into it because I kind of want to be surprised by it. But some of the things that I saw in the story, just looking over it quickly, were kind of surprising about which actual Macs are the most popular machines that sell the most often. Before we dive in, let me go ahead and say, oh shoot, I didn't get the browser up for this. Let me go ahead and say thank you to Factor for supporting this episode. And let me just go ahead and pull this up while I'm oh, there we go. Oh, look at that. I have it in my actual browser. I love it when that happens. There we go. Yes, Factor Meals, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit. Do I have this up? Oh, there we go. Can help you fuel up fast with flavorful and nutritious ready-to-eat meals. Ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time, eat well, and stay on track while reaching your goals. Do you need an extra boost of support for your wellness this summer, Lewis? You need some extra manpower, as I call it. You need some of that man fuel. That's what I call Factor. Well, lucky for you, they offer delicious, flavor-packed options on the menu each week to fit a variety of lifestyles, from keto to calorie smart, vegan plus, veggie, and the one that I had, the protein plus, aka the manpower. Prepared by chefs and approved by dietitians, each meal has all the ingredients you need to feel satisfied all day long while meeting your goals. So Factor sent me a ton of food, and I said this before on the show, and I said this because I mean it. It is the best tasting, most delicious, ready-to-eat food kits that I have tried. They show up to your door, and the Protein Plus meals, it's just like, I call it man food because it's like a solid slab of meat. Chicken, beef, some other kind of protein, covered with really like tasty sauce, and all the different dishes were unique. Like, they didn't all just taste like a bunch of salty, like salty restaurant food. They were flavorful. They tasted fresh, and they all had like a unique flavor profile. And when you were done eating, like you felt full, like you felt like you had the fuel to go out there and capture escaped Cult of Mac riders, which is something that takes a lot of energy. They're fast, they fight back. Oftentimes they try to bite and scratch. And Lewis uses a bow and arrow now because he likes the sport of it all. You need fuel to do that type of thing. And
you're making me hungry, man.
Hungry for vengeance or for dinner?
Everything.
Well, if you want to, if I've made you, if I've piqued your appetite here and you want to give it a shot, go to factormeals.com/cultcast50 and use code cultcast50 to get 50% off your first box. That's code cultcast50 at factormeals.com/cultcast50 to get 50% off your first box. You'll get a great discount just to try it, and you get a bunch of really great tasty food that you can prepare in 2 to 3 minutes. They're really that fast, and you'll have the fuel for whatever adventure you're going to be going on for that great workout or to capture escaped writers. Maybe if you're working at like a blog like Mac Rumors or something, do they try to escape? I doubt it, but if one did, maybe they were trying to go to The Verge or something. You could put the kibosh on that. All right, let's dive right in. Lewis, am I sending this to you? Oh yeah, for the big story. Lewis, take it away. Tell us about the big new EU regulations that might change iPhone forever.
You're quite excited about this. This is great.
I actually think that this is would be super useful.
Yeah, well, we'll see. So the European Parliament passed sweeping legislation last week intended to make recycling batteries easier. And part of that is going to require Apple to redesign iPhone and iPad so the batteries can be more easily replaced by users. Android devices also, of course, going to have to do that. So this newly passed EU legislation requires, quote, designing portable batteries and appliances in such a way that consumers can themselves easily remove and replace them. Sounds great, right? And you're like, oh, great. Yeah. Well, so, okay. This doesn't mean that your phone, will have an instantly swappable battery like old cell phones or nothing like that. That would kind of be cool if they could figure out a way to do that. But what it means, it needs to be easier to repair or replace. And, of course, the law is kind of vague on that, right? I mean, Apple already offers these tools that you could buy and order, but it sounds like you have to be like a borderline genius to do it. Right? $49 to rent them, and you could just take it there and get it done for not much more than that.
I think the only reason Apple released that self-repair kit is to avoid being legislated. That's the only reason, because it gives the appearance that they care. But who in their right mind would ever order that big repair kit?
It's like 2 giant boxes, right?
And learn how to use it all.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing is completely absurd.
It comes with a sandbox, right?
Yes.
Or a box of sand so that you don't have a lithium battery fire.
So I think this is actually pretty cool. My first instinct is to say I would love to be able to replace the battery because, as Apple says, batteries are consumable devices and they deteriorate over time and you get less performance out of your device. And shoot, if you could just replace the battery, you would have the best performance that you could get out of your device. And that would give your device a lot more longevity. Now, we got Captain Dr. Zach Hicks in the chat here saying, hopefully the removable batteries that happen in the EU don't come to the U.S. And I have to say, why would you not want this in the U.S.? Are there any reasons you would not want this capability?
Yeah, you want your iPhone to be as waterproof as possible. You want the design to be as good as possible. You want it to be as small as possible. I mean, I don't know. I don't think Apple doesn't make it easy to pop out a battery because, they want to sell you an extra iPhone. I don't buy that because the battery on an iPhone lasts a long time anyway.
And if it's hard to replace it, affects them too, because it means that it's more employee time at Apple stores spent replacing batteries.
Yeah, but if you have the right tools, I'm sure they can do it really fast because they have like the plunger and
the robot
and all that stuff to like do all the quick changes and make sure everything works. The testing machines and stuff. So I don't know.
I feel like this is another. I feel like this is another instance of the EU legislating something that Apple was on the way of doing anyways. Just like the switch to the USB-C charger. Like, I don't think Apple is switching to the USB-C charger because the EU legislated it. I think they were going to do it regardless. And now here we are stuck with the USB-C connector like codified into law for the foreseeable future. Like this is another instance of that because like we saw with the iPhone 14 this year, not on the 14 Pro models, but on the iPhone 14 models, that Apple re-engineered like the internal structure of the phone such that both the front panel and the back panel can be like freely unscrewed and replaced at will. Like the iFixit teardown torn a lot of the details there. I don't know. I feel like Apple was going this direction anyway, but I guess now it's codified into law so that everybody has to do that. So great job, everybody.
Using less glue and stuff, right?
Yeah.
But, it does seem like Apple is moving this direction now. Whether or not they're doing it in anticipation of this kind of thing or whatever, who knows? I mean, it could be just like what Irfan said. It's, they make these repair kits available at these ridiculous prices. It's a hoop that no one's going to jump through, right? But it's available. Apple can say, hey, look, it's not that hard. Look, it's very simple. You just order this $49 kit and read a manual and figure out how to deal with all kinds of things you have no idea how to deal with.
Try not to blow up your phone. I mean, I do get the sentiment that we don't want technology legislated because now Apple has to include these. They have to make their devices in a way that satisfy these laws instead of just making the best device that they can. And I do think that's actually a problem. Like the USB-C thing. Like, what if the industry moves on to some new connector type? How fast is that going to be changed in EU law? I doubt it's going to be quick. So
they can't now because a new connector isn't going to take off if everybody knows that like the USB-C connector is required by law on the smartphone. Who knows how long it's going to be until a new connector comes along that's good enough that everybody decides to go all in on pressuring the EU to like update the law and all that. Like it's going to take forever. I hope you're happy with USB-C, everybody, because we're stuck with it for like the next 20 years at least.
Time, yeah.
Seems to work pretty well.
Well, I mean that's also another point. It kind of freezes out innovation, right? Because people think, well, why would I spend time and resources to create something new because we have to do it this way? And so why even waste my time? And now with the battery thing, I mean, especially if it does make your phone less waterproof and it makes your phone worse, then I agree. This is kind of like not the way that I would want to see things go. But I don't know. I mean, maybe they'll end up making an iPhone for the EU and an iPhone for the US. My gut tells me that probably wouldn't happen. They would just make one iPhone for the whole world. But if they have to seriously compromise the design to create a phone for the EU, I could see Apple. I mean, the US market is big enough that I could see them actually just making some hobbled phone for the EU. And then the rest of the world all gets just the better phone, right? So if you're in the EU, you get the crappy, Comrade version.
It's a quarter-inch thicker. It has giant screws.
Yeah, right.
Don't take it. Don't take it to the beach because it'll get short out.
Right.
Or like the extra plastic panels that they have to put around the battery means the battery is like half as thick and it gets like half the battery life.
Easy to replace.
I mean, that's another thing.
12 minutes.
We don't know how, like, to what extent this law is like going to put on manufacturers. Like, we don't really know what exactly they're requiring, like whether the iPhone 14 sort of internal design is sufficient or not, or whether they'll need to have it like, oh, you can't secure your battery down with glue, or like, I don't know.
Norbert from the chat is saying after USB-C, it will be wireless charging. That might be true, but I can tell you from my experience with the HomePod, you do not want a device without a port on it. It's just a bad idea. There's way too many things that can go wrong, and if you can't plug into it, that device is going to become garbage. As I'm, learning with my HomePod, like you got to have a port on that thing somewhere. I hope they never make a portless iPhone. That would actually be a huge negative to me. I wouldn't have said that before my experience with my HomePod, where it bricked itself, and if only you could just plug it in, I feel like that would fix the problem. But once the Wi-Fi becomes unstable, or if you have some kind of like system issue where you can't connect to it via Wi-Fi, you have a perfectly good product now that you have to basically throw away. It's completely outrageous, So I hope they never do that. Let's see here. Yeah. we got the chat saying I've had iPhones since 2007. Never once needed to change out a battery. Yeah, I've had some
Yeah, me
iPhones
neither.
for 3+ years. I get that too, but like I'm looking at my iPhone battery well, not right this second, but I've looked at it recently, and it's at like 87, 85% battery capacity now, and I'm like, dude, if I could change the battery out really easily, I'd probably just do that, because now the iPhone is having to do tricks to maintain its level of performance that it once had. So it would be nice to be able to swap it out easily. But how much does Apple charge for that service? Does anyone know? Is it like 50, 60 bucks? It's probably more than that now. 80
I think
bucks
last
maybe.
I checked, it was like 79 or
Yeah,
something.
see, like, is it worth swapping out the battery
Oh,
on?
it's cheaper than buying a new phone.
Well, I mean, that much is true, but it's not that much cheaper. I mean, if you could buy a phone for like what, like $400 or $500? Can you guys hear my kids screaming in the background? By
I
the
can
way,
hear something. I
Yeah.
thought maybe the ice cream truck was going by or something.
I don't know what's going on out there. I can hear it through my headphones,
Clown school.
but my window's open. Let me close my window because someone's having a complete meltdown, and I don't want to listen to it anymore. Hold on.
Grade A
Wow.
parenting.
Yeah, this.
Parenting 101. Kids
I like it.
screaming.
I don't
close
want
the
to hear it.
window.
I'm just gonna shut the window.
It's bleeding. It's bleeding so
My-
bad. Let me just go ahead and shut that window. There's a lot of screaming going on out there.
What if there's a clown in your backyard? It's terrifying your children.
Well, that would be pretty interesting. I don't know where the clown would come from. I'll keep an eye out.
Nobody
If I see
knows
any-
where the clowns come from. That's the
the
problem.
sewer, I guess. If I see any clowns, I might have to end the show early and go out and investigate. But I don't see any clowns. I just see a bunch of kids arguing over things that. I mean, look. When you're a parent, you spend like 80% of your time refereeing. I tell my wife this all the time. I'm like, we spend like 80 to 90% of our time refereeing these fights that are completely pointless. It's like, he took my Lego. It's like, there's a whole bag of Legos right there, but I want that one. And they're just screaming at each other. This is my life. It's refereeing these pointless fights all day long that are things that no one should be arguing about. All right, let's see. Next story. Where are we going next? All right, let's talk about Vision Pro, Griffin. And I thought it'd be cool if we could feature some of these other feature some of these features that are going out for Vision Pro. But they released the SDK this week, and people are already starting to develop for it, huh?
That's right. It was just yesterday. Turning the Apple Vision Pro headset from an announcement into a shipping product took a big step forward yesterday with the release of the SDK. That includes the software tools developers will use to write applications for the AR headset that Apple unveiled earlier this month. Apple also said that it will open developer labs in a select few locations around the world soon, giving developers like a sort of a small window for hands-on time with the Vision Pro, which won't launch until 2024. You're developing these apps, you can run them in like a simulator, and that's where a lot of this work is going to happen. If you have a Mac, I don't know if I actually didn't check if there are like limitations on like if you need an Apple Silicon Mac, presumably, or if you need like one with an
I'm
M2
sure
or
you
anything.
do, yeah.
Yeah. Like if you're not a developer, you probably don't know this, but like in Xcode, there's a simulator where you can boot up like a virtual iPhone or a virtual iPad or a virtual Apple Watch. And, it has like, functions you can operate with a mouse to like do things like the power button or like rotate the iPhone to landscape or vertical. Well, they came out with a similar sort of tool for the Vision Pro. If you compile your app, or you can just boot into it without compiling anything and just run like the stock few stock apps that they give you. It boots into like a 3D environment. It's like you're playing a video game where they simulate a few different rooms. You have like a kitchen, you have like a living room, and you have like a museum sort of room. You can switch the lighting conditions into like daytime or nighttime. It's like this whole 3D environment that you can pan around in. And it's really kind of slow and crummy because you're operating it with a mouse where they're supposed to just, focus your eyes around the screen. So it's not a comparable experience, but these apps can run pretty much out of the box. If you have an iPhone or iPad app, you can just run it pretty much as is on the Vision Pro simulator without doing any work at all. It sort of works as like a virtual, iPad screen in your space. So it isn't great because like the iPad apps are completely opaque. They're not optimized for the interface. But the great news that was sort of a big question among all the indie developers is like, how hard is it to get a stock iPad app into something that like looks good and runs natively on the Vision Pro, apparently not much work at all. If you're building an app with like Apple's own user interface tools, UIKit and Swift UI, like within a few hours, uh, people on like indie developers on Mastodon were like posting screenshots and pictures of like their apps running on Vision Pro. It's pretty incredible. If you don't have a Mastodon account, Steven Troughton Smith has been posting a lot of these on his account, and he's been like retweeting and showing all of these. If you can
This
bring
living
that up,
room scene is it's
yeah,
so bizarre. It's like it's almost
like
like the
nobody's living room looks like that,
no.
which is hilarious.
But it's also so lo-fi. It's
Mhm.
it's like the home app on your iPhone, like that weird background picture they put in there that looks like it was it looks like it was taken by a developer and just put into the app to ship it, to give you something to play around with.
Or like the home set that they have for like the live keynotes when they're like trying to show a house, and it's like nobody's house looks like that. It's kind of like that. And then you just have like these frosted glass apps running in there. I think they look pretty cool. Apparently, like that was the big question before the keynote even happened. Everybody was talking about like how hard was it going to be to like create your apps on this thing? Are all of the tools going to be available? A lot of people were thinking that like UIKit wasn't going to be on there at all, and it would just be only Swift UI, which a lot of developers are like really sort of split and hung up over. But it's really fleshed out. Like you can tell that Apple put a lot of their efforts into making the the SDK and all of these APIs like just super easy to work with, building off of what everybody's experience is already in. Like so many of the user interface elements just directly translate. Instead of having a toolbar on the bottom of a screen, you have like the floating toolbar that appears like dynamically as a separate sort of like little ornament underneath your app. Like it's super easy.
This really is a feat in user experience design. I feel like the user experience people in most organizations they don't get nearly they don't get nearly the credit they deserve. I mean, like these people designed a whole new paradigm in computing and figured out how it should work and how people will want to interact with it. And the fact that this is so polished already as a V1 is just astounding to me. I mean, the amount of effort and creativity and testing and research that had to go into this is truly mind blowing. I mean, they just must have some of the best user experience people on the planet. And you know what, Lewis? You know what I always think when I see this kind of stuff? No one could have made this but Apple. No one could have made this but Apple. There's just no. I don't think that people care enough about user experience. Any other company, well, very few companies to do something like this. Like it just you have to have such an unbelievable amount of collaboration happening between all the different professionals at your company to pull something like this off. It's just like a marriage of all these different top tier technical experts in all these different fields to make something like this work. Oh, here it is in action. I see he's playing around with it with the Vision Pro. He's looking at the weather app inside your living room. That's pretty interesting, man. And then there was also a story. Let's see here. Mac Rumors had this story out. Here are all the environments you can experience in Vision OS. So you can have like these virtual environments that you can load up. They're like that white scene in the Matrix. It's like an operating construct that you can like do other things in. So there's going to be, I don't even know what some of these are. Apple today released the first version of Vision OS. Here are the available environments right now. Okay, so Haleakala, is that like a place?
Haleakala.
Is that in Hawaii?
Yeah.
Haleakala. Is it like a national park? Okay, these are all national parks. I'm guessing many of these are. Okay, Yosemite, Sky. You're just in the sky. Joshua Tree, Lake Wrangala, Mount Hood. That's in Oregon, I believe. The moon. You just be on the moon.
You can do your own moon landing.
That'd be cool. I mean, you could pretend to be a person on the moon. No people ever have been on the moon. So, but it'd be cool to actually pretend to go there.
Now we're definitely gonna get flagged by YouTube.
I mean, no humans been on the moon. So, but it'd be cool if you could pretend to be there. The beach, white sands, winter lights. It's just like just winter. That probably is like the construct. Fall light, summer light, spring light. You know what's funny is I'm I'm strangely excited for these kind of constructs. I think it'd be cool just to feel like you have left your present your present domain and transcend it in some other place that you could like look around in. Like the one area they would never do this, but it would be really cool. Is what's the name of that planet in the Avengers movie that they have to go to get the Soul Stone? And there, do you guys know what I'm talking about? And they
remember.
get and then they get there, and there is that that Marvel bad guy with the red face, whose name that I can't remember right now. It's probably like something stupid like Red Face.
Text my wife really quick. She'll probably give me an instant answer, even with your vague
Marvel
description.
But anyway, like this planet they get on, it has like this really cool atmospheric light, and the sun is distant but low on the horizon, and it just kind of stays there. And so like the planet is dark, but has like this really beautiful like orange glow from like the light coming towards you from the horizon. And I was like, places like that, like if you could create some kind of artificial environment like that and make it feel believable, and you could just like inhabit an area like that, maybe even like traverse around it or watch movies while you exist in an environment like that, that'd be pretty cool. Dead Eddie says, I want the North Pole with the green skylights. I mean, that'd be pretty cool. I think that the virtual travel aspect of the Vision Pro could be one of the biggest selling points, because there's no other headset on earth that would be able to transcend and take you to a place like that where you could see super high quality, high resolution video and then get to explore an environment like that and look around. It would feel so real and lifelike that could be pretty cool. The jungle would be neat. Says Salvador. He wants to go to the jungle. Love me some soundscapes. Yeah, they already have soundscapes on the HomePod. You can already load that up right now.
Real-time follow-up. My wife says the planet's name is Vormir. Vormir.
Oh, man. You got
Red Skull.
You got Red Skull. I knew it was Skull something. Vormir.
Our official Marvel correspondent.
Okay, so
Glad
is she like a Marvel?
She says
expert?
the red guy is Red Skull.
The red guy.
Vormir. Let me see if I can boot this up. I cannot believe that your wife knew that. Vormir. Vormir. Vormir.
I can't believe they got the name almost right. Red Skull. That's not too far off from here.
Let's see here. Do we have any images of it though? So
says what's on the tin.
Why
is what's on the tin.
Why does your wife automatically know that, and how did you know she was going to automatically know that? Oh yeah, here we go.
What can I say?
She just loves Marvel stuff. Here we go. So
oh yeah.
Here's the planet right here. This is not the best picture, but you can see. I guess there's like an eclipse happening, and it has like this faint light that covers the entire planet. Like that would be pretty cool. Like some kind of like sci-fi planet like this. I don't know if that would cause me to spend $3,500, but maybe for the Vision Non-Pro version when that comes out. Or being able to experience hyperspace on the Millennium Falcon. Yeah. Or let's say you're watching a movie and it allows you to like look around, like normally the movie takes place from one perspective, right? But like what if you could look around and see what was happening at all times with all the different actors during all the different scenes? That seems like it'd be much more of a technical feat to create a movie like that. But so instead of just showing you one aspect of the movie at one time, like you were just in the movie and you could look around as the movie was taking place. Like that would be pretty mind-boggling. Lewis,
I have
you're
a question
shaking your
for
head
you
in
guys.
disbelief. Yeah.
Just seems bizarre.
What year do you think will be the year where Apple has a special version of the keynote that you can watch in 3D through a Vision Pro?
Oh man. Well, I think it will be the keynote that occurs after the release of the Vision Pro. The very next
The first
will
one?
have that,
So
yeah.
you think a year from now?
Well, I don't know when are they releasing the Vision Pro? Did they say an exact date? They just
Early
said
Sometime next
2024.
year, right?
I mean, just sometime. Yeah, because they have to support it. No one's going to support it if not for Apple. And so I think once this thing comes out, they're probably already planning for this. I mean, it's going to have to be something that you can watch in your Vision Pro. I don't know if you'll be able to look all around and experience it the way that I just described, like that movie experience happening where you can look all around and experience the movie as it's taking place. I don't know if they'll do that. But that would be pretty cool. That would be pretty smart if they had like 3D or 360 cameras inside the event, and like you could literally look around and like traverse like you can with Google Maps or Apple Maps and like go through the event and like get right up in front of TC's face when he's announcing stuff. I don't know if I want to be that close to TC, but
I wonder if
Craig
they'll do
Federighi,
stuff like
maybe.
I also don't know that I wouldn't want to do that. What's that? What?
Craig Federighi, you know.
Yeah. Oh man, I would seriously consider spending $3,500 to get up close to that hair. Just like look at the follicles and be like, what's going on with that hair deal? Is it real? I mean, do I need to tug on this? Because it seems like it shouldn't be real for a man of his age. All right, let's see here. That's the Vision Pro news. Oh man, we're cruising through this. Before we talk about some of the new features coming to iOS 17, the Photos app, Luce, do you want to do a quick mention of the giveaway here? Is this actually up on the site? Oh my goodness, it is. Look at that.
Isn't that
Luce.
crazy?
I love it. Do you want to talk about the
Yeah.
giveaway real fast?
Yeah. Did we mention this? I think we mentioned this last week. So there's a couple days left in this giveaway. It's for a 65-watt GAN. I never know how to pronounce that. Is it GAN, gallium nitride, whatever, travel charger that you can plug in anywhere. It comes with this is from Ugreen, 65 watter. It's called a Nexode, and it's got 2 USB-C ports, 1 USB-A port, which is awesome. Pretty good selection. And it comes with these 3 switchable plugs. You can use it when traveling US, UK, and Europe. These things retail for $55.99. We're giving away, I think the missing piece of this last week, we didn't know how many we were giving away. Well, I can tell you now, we're giving away 2. The mystery is solved. 2 different ones.
So your odds of winning, which
they just went up.
were not bad before, are now even higher. So before you had a chance to win.
Your odds have been cut in half, I guess, not doubled.
Well, because you're giving away 2, right?
Yeah. The likelihood that you will win
That's
has
what I'm saying.
increased by a factor
Before
of
you
2.
had a chance, and now that chance has been doubled.
Yeah.
So
it's
now
great.
you have even more of a chance of winning
Yeah.
this. So those are good
It's,
odds.
And I think I was mentioning before, I don't have this particular charger, but I have a couple of Ugreen chargers. They're great. My house is not burned down. They don't,
Well, that's important.
I just
That,
always
I would
wonder,
argue is one of the most important features is it
people
doesn't
start-
burn down your house.
people start buying, these chargers, just because they're inexpensive. Ugreens are very competitively priced, and they give you a lot for your money. That's why I own them, because I bought them. I bought them on the internet, and I like them. And they charge your stuff up fast, and
Well,
they seem very safe and reliable. Let's see. To get to this giveaway, you go
It's
to the
so easy.
homepage of cultofmac.com, scroll
Never heard
down
of
to the place where it says giveaway. It's right there on the page.
I don't
Giveaway.
read that
Click
site
on it.
either.
Click on
What
that
site
thing.
is it? Okay.
Yeah,
cultofmac.com.
cultofmac.com.
There it is. I found
Scroll
it.
down to the giveaway. I'd love to see the percentage scroll rocket up after this, because everybody went and scrolled down the homepage. And click on that. You got multiple ways to enter. It's free as always. We got a new one just about every single week. And like I said, this one's ending in a couple of days, so don't dawdle.
Well, Mooper from the chat is saying, I've never won. Well, look, this might be your chance. I'm
Keep
surprised that
trying.
you've never won, because you got a chance. And this time you got double the chance. So it's, like I said, you have a 100% chance of having a chance. So go in there and register, and you have a 100% chance of that chance. So now is the best time to do it. And if not now, then whenever you hear this, as long as the giveaway isn't over, because you said it's ending
That's
in 2
the
days,
thing.
right, Luce?
These are all ephemeral. Yes,
Yep. Okay.
done in 2 days.
All right, cool. And if I may, just real quick, if you haven't yet purchased yourself a coat cloth, it's the most premium cleaning experience that you'll have for your high-end gadgets, glasses, lenses. I use them on everything. And even now when I use them, I'm still surprised by how well they work. They just, well, first of all, they leave nothing behind but sparkling glass, metal, and plastic. And our newest cloth is the Cloth Duo, which you can get by itself or in a kit with all of our other cloths. And the Cloth Duo has a dual fiber design. It has short fibers on one side, which is great for like cleaning screens and stuff, especially if you want to use a little bit of like cleaning spray. You don't need very much, just a little bit goes a long way. And then the other side is the long fiber side. And this is a luxurious long fiber that will reach down into the cracks and crevices of your device around the rim of your glasses where they meet the frame. I use an iPhone case that has a crack around it, and it reaches down in that crack and pulls out all like the cruft and grime and crime and everything. Everything that you don't want in there is just going to be lifted out. And it's great for all your premium devices. I mean, I use it on my my 65-inch QD OLED, sunglasses, glasses. I mean, you name it. They just work unbelievably well. I've never found anything that works better. And so if you haven't picked some up, I invite you to check them out at CultCast.co. You'll be supporting the show, supporting me, and I greatly appreciate the thousands and thousands of you that have purchased these. And if you haven't picked some up yet, you can use code CultCast at checkout. You'll get yourself 2 free carry cloths, not 1 but 2. Now this is a limited time deal. So don't expect me just to be giving things away forever because look, time is money and money is time, and I don't have very much time and I need more money. So eventually you're going to be out of time and I won't have your money, and that's going to be not a good thing for either of us. So head on over to cultcloth.co, use code CultCast at checkout, and I just want to thank you all for doing that and for supporting me and for supporting the show. Is that Buster on the logo? I cannot officially say it is because I haven't paid him for his likeness, but I did run it by him. He thought it was funny, and I said he's like, it kind of looks like if we had like a child, and I said, yeah, that's what I was going for, Buster, and I think I accomplished that right there. That's cultcloth.co. Okay, should we talk about some new features coming to iOS 17? The Photos app. You know, the Photos app, oh, man. I've been doing a lot of research on different ways to manage photo libraries, and Apple's Photo app truly is one of the best solutions that exist out there. It's not the best in all instances, but it's a darn good one, and it's getting better. Let me see. Where do I have the story here? Do I have it loaded up here? If not, I'll have to load this up. So in iOS 17, obviously, there's going to be some new features coming to the Photos app, and I thought you all might just enjoy hearing about these because this is obviously one of the apps that people use the most. So here we go. I think I mentioned this before, but this is a big one. If you have a pet recognition is coming to the Photos app. So all those photos of your pets, you'll be able to add their recognition to the app, like their little pet face. So I have all my kids and like the people in my lives who show up in my photos routinely, and now you'll be able to have your little pet added in there too, which is cool because now you can press that picture of your pet and all the photos of your pet. And if you have pets, I'm sure like me, you have probably like thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of pictures of your pets in outfits that they really hate wearing, but you made them wear anyway, dressed up in Halloween costumes, and in all sorts of fun locations and stuff, living their best lives. So you'll be able to easily pull them up. There's also going to be a one-tap crop. Let's see, in iOS 16, cropping images in the Photos app involves tapping in the edit interface and then choosing the crop tool. But in iOS 17, Apple made the process easier. Now when you zoom into an image, there's a new crop button that appears in the upper right. Tapping it brings up the crop interface with the zoom level that you've selected so that you can crop into the part of the image that you prefer with just a couple of taps. I use the crop tool all the time, so that's pretty handy. You can easily churn your photos into animated stickers now. So if you take a live photo, you know that subject removal tool that they added in iOS 16? Well, in iOS 17, you can use it to make an animated sticker that you can use in iMessages. So if you have like a live photo, let's see here, long press the subject in a photo, and the pop-up menu includes a new add sticker option that exports the selected subject into the Messages sticker interface. Dude, I would use this all the time, actually. From there, you can add effects. There's a white sticker outline, a puffy sticker effect, a glittery effect, and more. And then, yeah, subjects pulled from live photos have the options of being animated. Here's one for Lewis. You're going to love this one, Lewis. Something Lewis is going to use all the time, getting recipes for food. Now, I don't know about you, but most food looks like vomit when you take a picture of it with an iPhone. You know? So I don't know how the iPhone is going to be able to tell you what the food actually is, but you'll be able to get recipes for your food in iOS 17. Yeah, go for it.
I doing a little research, checking this fantastic feature out, right? And So it does a good job of identifying food.
Hmm.
I searched in my thing for food. There's like 2,500 photos, right? Taken all over the place. Right here,
People love
Italy,
taking
et
pictures
cetera,
of
et
their
cetera.
food, man.
Everywhere.
I never
Yeah.
take pictures of my food ever. It always just looks like dog food when you take a picture of it with your iPhone.
Well, you're not taking the pictures right, or you're not eating the right restaurants.
Or maybe I just
Uh,
stop going to places that are serving me dog food.
Yeah, avoid the dog food. But so, it even identifies things like I had one of the things, a picture of a couple of my friends. I remember this night we had a barbecue, and these guys were working the grill, and they made this fantastic big plate of like sausages and pork chops and everything, and they're standing there with this. It's a great picture of these two guys holding up this thing. Look what we did, and of course Apple identifies that as food, right? It's not just a plate full of stuff that looks like dog food. But the problem is, okay, so you do that, you look at it. If it's a thing that Apple identifies as food, there's a little, I guess it's a knife and fork icon at the bottom of the screen there. You tap that and it says, you get another option that pops up there with all the details about the phone. One of the things is look up food. So you tap that and you get these search results. That picture I was just telling you about with my friends, it gives you 3 recipes. I never know how to pronounce this. Wagyu beef wrapped asparagus. Wagyu. Okay, whatever. Wrapped asparagus with roasted red pepper aioli. No, not at all what we had. Tasty peppers stuffed with beans. Nope, not close. Vegan and gluten-free Italian sausage. Couldn't be further from the truth. So, my problem with this is, like, who is this feature made for? Why did they put this into the thing? It seems like the most useless thing in the world. It identifies things as things that they're not. Vegan sausages. Come on. I did this with a whole bunch of things. I just was looking. I had a picture of some razor clams from Spain, right? Beautiful plate of razor clams. What results does it give me? It gives me Turkish sarma with vine leaves. Actually, it was just completely convinced that it's stuffed vine leaves. I don't know. Not at all close. Let's see here. I had this little pasta dish in Italy, right? So it says, it's instant pot dan noodles. Nope, not right. Canned clam linguine. This is one of the recipes they gave me. Canned clam linguine. Come on. Vegan Cincinnati chili. By the way, Cincinnati chili is delicious. I don't know if you know what that is, but it is delicious.
No, I never had it.
Never
even heard of it.
5-way chili.
I'll point my iOS
This
7
is
iPhone
a
at
Cincinnati
it.
specialty. They serve it on spaghetti.
Oh.
So it's a bed of spaghetti. Then you get the chili, and you can get beans. You can get chopped onions, and you get this delicious shredded cheese, right? You order like a 3-way, 4-way, 5-way, whatever. Skyline chili, fantastic. I love the place. Anyway, so my favorite one of these things that I was looking at this morning is I found this picture in the food category. It's actually, I don't know if you could show it on the screen, but it's a picture that when Cult of Mac went to CES back in 2015, I believe it was. I took this picture at the Wynn in Las Vegas. And it's a
You
picture
sent it to me
of
in Slack. Let me take a look at it. Do you have it?
I think it's in Slack.
It's in the tweet in the show notes.
It
Yeah,
is?
it's in the
All right,
it's
let
in
me-
the show
let me
notes.
take a
Yeah,
look.
it's
Oh, here we go. I found it. Okay, let me load
it's
this
a
up.
really a delightful dish we got at the Wynn in Las Vegas. It's
Oh, yum.
it's a whole bunch of cigarette butts, and
It's an ashtray full of cigarettes. Yeah.
an ashtray full of cigarette butts, and it helpfully gave me these three recipes: roasted squash, kale, and feta salad with walnut vinaigrette.
I mean, when you
which-
look at the thumbnail for that recipe, it actually does look the same.
Yeah,
This is my point. You're only proving my point, Lewis. It is you can't tell what is in a dish
I
just by
know.
looking at it.
It's-
There's no way.
it's completely silly. That's what I'm saying. It's even if it let's say it even identifies the food correctly. Like, oh, it's pasta with a red sauce. There's how many different ways to make that? Millions and millions and millions. And the odds of them ever getting anything close to the actual thing that you're taking a picture of, it just to me, it just seems like the most ludicrous feature that I've seen in an Apple thing. Although, as we were discussing these shows, you mentioned digital touch, which that's right up there. But I don't see how. I don't think they can make this better. I don't think it's ever going to be of any use to anyone. I mean, who would even do that? Oh, I took a picture of my thing, so I'm going to press a thing, a bunch of recipes that don't have anything to do with it. I mean, if you actually care about cooking, you're going to search for a recipe using the actual name of the dish and some ingredients that are definitely in it, right? You're not going to try to get it from your photo. I don't know.
You're right. You do feel passionately about this. I was not expecting us to talk about this for this long. Yeah.
I like iPhones. I like food. I like cooking. This is not right.
I'm with you, Lewis. It seems like a feature that's failed in premise. It's like if your food is covered with any kind of sauce, or if you've got a soup or something, anything that's not superficially right on the surface where the camera can see it, it's got no chance of actually giving you a good recipe. All right, let's keep moving though. We got one.
Didn't mean to derail it. I just get worked up.
I'm always up for a derailment, but I got to be out of here in like 15 minutes. Let's see here. You can also straighten your shooting angle. In iOS 17, Apple has enhanced the camera level functionality. I'm not even going to bother reading this. Yeah, you can make your photos more straight. That's great. Look what you just lifted. In iOS 17, you can use the remove subject from background tool, and now you can look up the information about the subject in question. This is kind of related to the food one, so it's just doing like image recognition. And I feel like this one might be useful in some way. It's like Shazam for real world objects, right? So now you can take a picture of something, and then you can look that something up without having to type it into your phone. I feel like the problem with these features is always that the results that it brings up are not results. It's hard to get an accurate search result unless you've typed in the search yourself. Like, what do you want to know about the item, or what kind of information are you looking for? Just doing a search based on an image, I mean, I guess it could tell you what something is, but I can't think of very many instances in my life where I'm like, hey, what is this? I want to look up a description of what this item is based purely off what this item looks like. I just haven't. I can't think of any instances where I've encountered that, but maybe it will prove to be more useful when I actually.
Even so, if I wanted to figure out what something is, I wouldn't think to take a picture of it and then hope that the camera will identify it as an object that I can look up. Like Google Lens does a better job of that because, like, you know, it's like a little camera you open and it's ephemeral. Like you just point it at a thing and then it tells you what it is. I'm not going to think to do that from the iPhone camera app. If I want to find something out, I'm going to like type in like a few things that I can identify about it into Google or something, you know?
So so you're saying on a Google phone, you can point the camera at something and it will just automatically tell you what something is? Like, how do you invoke that functionality?
I think it's like a separate app that you open, like Google Lens, separate from the Google Camera
Lens.
app.
Okay.
And
That's
you can get it on iPhone too.
I think like, I have that installed. I haven't used it in forever though.
Yeah, but like I wouldn't trust the iPhone photo thing to pick it up because it misidentifies like my breed of dogs like every time.
Yeah, I know. It's like using Siri to identify objects. It's like the power of Siri, except now it's identifying things. It's like, let's see here. Visual lookup for auto symbols. Apple hasn't publicly promoted this feature, but Reddit users digging around iOS 17 beta have discovered that visual lookup can now detect car symbols on vehicle dashboards. When the Photos app identifies one or more symbols in an image, iOS 17 presents the name of the icon and a short description of its meaning. That could actually be useful. Like, well, what is this light on my dashboard? What does it mean? Maybe your iPhone could tell you. That could be useful. Tweaked editing interface. Okay, yeah. Do we need to talk about this one? No, I'm not even gonna bother.
I have like a separate app that does sort of a similar thing to like the dashboard icon thing. It's called Laundry Lens, and if you have like a clothing tag with like a bunch of like weird icons on it, you can point it at that, and I'll tell you what all of them are.
And it's called Laundry Lens, huh? Okay.
I think so, yeah.
I wonder if Apple, I mean, why did they make you take a picture of the thing? Why couldn't they just have you point the iPhone camera at like, you know, I can imagine like you're in a rental car, especially if you're in a foreign country and you can't tell what the, you know, description of the thing is, right? And there's a symbol, right? Okay, so I don't know what I need to know how to turn on the the blinkers, right? So if I could point the iPhone at it, I mean, why would I have to take a picture and then have it
Yeah,
understand.
because
Yeah,
like
she's
when you
working
pointed
real
out a
time.
QR code, it shows you like a little yellow bar on the bottom that says, "Oh, this is a QR code. Do you want to tap on this URL?" You know?
Yeah, it seems like. I mean, maybe it's. I wonder if it does this. It's probably not capable of doing it in real time. So it has to do it. They're going to do it on device, and so that's probably why it's take a picture and wait. I bet you.
You know
But
what
I don't know. I
feature?
haven't tried that one.
You know what feature I use all the time is the text recognition feature in the Photos app. I mean, Photos and videos. But like, if you ever trying to get like the serial number off like a product, like I had to submit the serial number off my TV. It was on the back of the TV, and I'm like, my TV's pressed up against the wall, so I just put my phone back there and took a picture. And then I could copy the serial number and paste it into the app. Like that was super helpful.
That's awesome.
Or pointing it at phone numbers that you want to call and just clicking call. I mean, that stuff
Yeah.
is useful. So some of this stuff, I'm like, well, the judgment's out. It doesn't sound super useful, but they're trying to make that same kind of functionality a little bit more powerful and have it extend into different areas of your life, which I actually appreciate. So some of the stuff is sounds interesting. Now, if only they would just give us more iCloud storage, that would also be great. Some more iCloud storage now. They have double iCloud storage. Yeah, I think never. They're just, giving you these phones that take 4K video that you can't watch in 4K anywhere, but you are paying for the storage. Eventually you run out and you got nowhere to go. But that's a different topic for a different time. Let's see.
It's weird you say that, but then you talk about it about every week.
Yeah, well, you know what? I honestly thought about writing Tim Cook an email and being like, this whole thing is one big giant grift. Like, are you doing this on purpose? Do you not realize that you're doing this? You've got to realize that you're doing this. I'm like, you're creating these. I'm going to just repeat myself. I'm not going to do it. But yeah, you're creating these phones that take 4K video. You can't watch the 4K video anywhere, but you're charging people to store it, and now you're not giving them any additional storage. It's just outrageous. I think TC should be outraged by this, and he should get real squinty and fix this problem. That squint that he does right before he's going to fix a problem or kill you, one of those two things. And hopefully he does both. All right, let's see. The one other feature I wanted to mention before we wrap up with our last story here. So we're getting an update in iOS 17, which is a welcome change in my book. And if you're a HomePod user, you might find this a welcome change as well. So you're going to have the ability to play music on HomePod using the assistant on your phone, in iOS 17. And it's not going to work the way that I originally thought this was going to work. So you can't just talk to your HomePod and have it play music from Spotify, for instance. I actually think Apple does support that feature, but Spotify hasn't worked with Apple to enable it, is my understanding. So you can't do it. So Apple is going to be giving you a workaround. And what you'll be able to do starting in iOS 17 is you can ask Siri to play music on your HomePod from music apps that are installed on your iPhone. So just to be clear, you're talking to your iPhone and you're asking it to play music from apps that you have installed on your iPhone on your HomePod. Now, this isn't exactly an elegant solution, but it does make it easier to play music from competing services on your HomePod, which I do appreciate because I am a Spotify user and probably will be till I die. Even though Apple Music definitely has better fidelity, it sounds so much better. There's just something about the Spotify app, I don't even know if I can articulate it, that I like more. I think its discovery features are a lot better, and I also just like the way the app is organized. You know what it is? I feel like the Spotify app feels like it has heart, and Apple Music feels like it was designed in a sterile environment to be sent into space or something. Like, it just doesn't feel like it has any personality, and I don't enjoy using it. Although the lyrics functionality is actually really cool. So if you're a HomePod user, come iOS 17, you'll be able to actually play music from competing services on your HomePods from your iPhone, as long as you have the app installed on your iPhone. So that will be.
And you're on the same Wi-Fi, and you're this and you're that.
Yeah, well, you gotta be on. I mean, is that onerous? I mean, if you're not on the same Wi-Fi, why would you be playing music on those speakers? You're clearly not even there.
I know, it sounds so weird and backward, like a kludge, but
yeah, it does kind of feel like a kludge. I agree with you there, but at least it works. All right, last story of the day. Let's talk about Mac sales. The Macs that sell the best, and the Macs that you may not realize sell the best. Although I haven't read the top part of this article, so I'm going to just say it's MacBook Airs that sell the most. And
That's exactly what Leander Caney guessed. He was writing about this in the newsletter today.
Huh.
And wrong.
That's not right.
Yeah, shocking,
I don't know if
isn't
I
it?
believe you. Now
Yeah,
I'm not so sure about this story. It's clearly the MacBook Air, but go ahead.
Yeah. This just came out today. It says new data from a market research firm shows that Apple notebooks made up the lion's share of Mac sales over the last year. Of desktop models, all-in-one iMac is most popular, and the cheapest Mac is among the lowest selling. This is what's kind of there's a whole bunch of things in here that are weird, right? Let me see here. This is coming from Consumer Intelligence Research Partners. Okay, they issued this report. It says in the most recent 12-month period, laptops accounted for over 3/4 of Mac computer sales, 77%. MacBook Pro made up 43% of sales, while MacBook Air captured 34% of sales.
Wow, now that is surprising. So
It is
MacBook Pro. So
People
MacBook
want the
Pro is their
ports.
most popular Mac.
Yeah.
Okay.
I bet it's that base model, and I also bet it's like enterprise corporates, universities, schools buying like the base model MacBook Pro in bulk.
Could be.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good guess.
So this is our story, right? It says historically MacBook Air has been Apple's best-selling notebook, but maybe anticipation of the upcoming 15-inch version might have, quashed that a little bit. People held off because this is just over a 1-year period, right? iMac is Apple's third best-selling model. It's top desktop. That made up supposedly 10% of sales. Now here's the one that had us all just our eyes bugging out. Mac Pro supposedly made up 9% of sales in the mid 2021 to mid 2023 period.
I find that hard to believe.
I mean
that actually is hard for me to believe.
Especially when you talk about the period. Like after the Apple Silicon transition, the Intel Mac Pro sold double the Mac Studio and Mac Mini combined.
I don't believe you,
Second
Lewis.
to the iMac.
I didn't come up with these numbers, but we
How do I know that you writing an alias didn't just make this whole thing up?
Mac Mini. Here, get this. Mac Mini supposedly 3%, and this is the most astonishing. Mac Studio, 1%.
Wow.
If these numbers are true, it's mind blowing. And we even put a disclaimer in the story. The figures we. I'll just read it. These last figures were met with skepticism by the Cult of Mac staff. It's odd that the Mac Pro, which until earlier this month hadn't been updated since 2019, reportedly sold so well. So, I mean, we're reporting what they said, right? We didn't do this thing. I don't know where they get their numbers. Apple keeps a lid on this stuff. But, I mean, we wouldn't have reported it if we didn't think it was at least, probably pretty good information.
Now I'm a skeptic. Although you would feel like they'd be able to estimate pretty closely just by working with their retail partners,
Yeah.
I don't know how many third-party retailers carry the Mac Pro, though.
That's the thing.
Like, what could possibly lead them to that conclusion?
So you're right. It's even higher than 13%. It's probably like 40%.
I bet I wouldn't be surprised if there were days where Apple sold less than 100 Mac Pros.
I would not either. If you told me that they sold 100 Mac Pros in March, I would be a little surprised, but not a lot. I mean, especially the Intel version. Yeah.
I bet that goes up a lot now. But still, yeah, it's I mean, the other thing that I don't know, I didn't actually read the study. I just edited the story. And one thing I'm realizing now is like, I don't know if this is based on, it must be based on percentage of sales, right? Like, or money. So if that's the case, then more expensive items obviously would weigh, you sell one, it's a bigger price. So I don't know if it's, number units or money, right? Maybe I should look at that. I feel stupid. I should have looked at this before. Oh, I can't. It's a paid report. Okay.
Cough it up, Lewis.
I can't do it.
I'm
not going to pay to read this report.
Oh.
Sorry, not going to do it.
You got to do it. You're a professional. You got to just cough up the expense and.
I mean, I can cough if you'd like.
You get your. Tell you what. You
that's
get your
in my
wallet
skill
out.
Set.
And while you're looking that up, I did want to mention one thing. I shouldn't even do this because I'm just giving free promotion. But there are some bonkers sales going on right now with the M1 MacBook Pro. And I would be remiss if I didn't at least notify you, our beloved audience, if you're looking for a new computer. Now, look, the M2, obviously, the newest, the latest, the best. But if you don't mind getting the M1, you can get an absolutely astounding deal on this machine right now on B&H. They're doing a sale, and you can get the 16-inch MacBook Pro with M1 Max, and you can get it with 4 terabytes of SSD and 64 gigs of RAM for $3,200 right now. And if you have their B&H credit card, which I do, in fact, it's one of my favorite credit cards that I have because they'll pay your sales tax for you. So you can get it tax-free for $3,200. Now, I realize that's a lot of money to spend for a machine, but this is Apple's tactic now. Like, Apple never has sales, but they definitely have sales through their proxies. So they'll do deals like this through B&H, and the new strategy now is they will have a sale, and then they'll give you like the fully spec'd out machine, like the 4 terabyte SSD, the 64 gigs of RAM, all the stuff that Apple charges an arm and leg for, but actually costs them probably nothing. And they'll throw in those extra perks, and then give you like a nice price. And like $3,200 is about what I paid for my machine, and I have 2 terabytes and 32 gigabytes of RAM. So if you're looking for like a new MacBook Pro, I would say definitely consider this if you don't need the extra horsepower of the M2. If you only want the newest, latest, best, I get that. I think that I'm drawn to that as well. I'm not making any money off this. I wish B&H were paying me. I'll put a link to this in the show notes, and my affiliate code for them still works. So if you click it and you buy it, then I'll make some money that way. But obviously, if you just go to B&H and buy it there, like, I'm gonna make squat, which is why I should never even have brought this up. But I do it as a service to all of you. They're actually having a big sale across the board on a bunch of different stuff, and they have a bunch of MacBook Pros on sale as well. Oh yeah, look at this! Wow. So you can get the 32 gigabytes M1 Max MacBook Pro 1 terabyte SSD for $2,700. Let's see here. Do they have any M2s? No, I don't think they're doing any M2s.
Yeah.
Well, they're not having the big sales on the M2s, although they are having some sales on the M2s as well. Wow, look at that. Yeah. Okay. 16-inch MacBook Pro, M2 Pro, save $250 off that. So, I don't know. The M2s obviously are the newest thing, so they're not giving as big of discounts. But that M1 Max, or that M1, the M1 Max MacBook Pro, 4 terabytes of SSD, that's bonkers for $3,200. So, I thought I would just give you guys a heads up if you want to check that out. Were you going to say anything else, Lewis, or should I start the music?
No, I was just looking. They seem to have pretty good sales on a lot of them.
Yeah, and they're having sales on all sorts of stuff right now.
Even the 15-incher already.
Yeah. So and it's not just computers either. Like, they're having like some kind of 3-day sale. What do they call it? The Mega Deal Zone. Hundreds of deals too good to last.
And that I didn't know about that thing with the credit card.
Yeah. They have become one of my main places that I buy stuff from now because their return policy is pretty good. I mean, you can't abuse it. I've heard stories like if you return too much stuff, they basically just cut you off and they'll not let you return stuff anymore. Like, they'll literally just say you can't return stuff. I don't know if that's true, or they might start charging you restocking fees, which I don't know if any of that's true, but I have heard stories on the internet. But if you get their credit card is called Payboo, which is the dumbest name I've ever heard for a credit card.
Payboo?
But if you use it, then they pay your sales tax for you. I don't know how they're able to do this because I buy expensive stuff from B&H all the time. And whenever I buy something from them, they're paying the sales tax. And if I buy used equipment from them, like I just bought a used camera from them, so they're already taking a hit because they're selling it used. And it's an item that I think someone returned. And now they're also paying my sales tax, which in my city is like almost 11%. So they're taking a hit that way too. Sometimes I think that this card is like the movie pass of credit cards. I'm like, there's no way this can keep going. How can they possibly stay in business? Like, the margins on electronics are so small. How can they be paying sales tax on all of these different things? I don't know. But I'm riding that wave, just like the movie pass thing. I'm riding that wave until it crashes. But you know what?
Did you sign up
for the
Movie
Paybu
Pass?
credit card?
For Movie Pass?
No, I haven't done it yet. But dude,
Okay.
I think I'm gonna.
Very tempting.
$10 a month for 3 movies. The only thing that's stopping me at this point is there's just not enough good movies to keep me going back. But dude, for $10 a month is low enough for me that it's almost just like an impulse buy. It's like, even if I only see 1 or 2 movies a month, especially if I saw 2, I'm happy. It's like $5 a movie. 3 movies would be great. I mean, at that rate, you're spending $3.30 a movie. Like, that's pretty good. But I might do it, Lewis. Have you signed up for it?
I have not, but
Okay.
it's very tempting.
I'm
Very
thinking
tempting.
about doing it. The only thing is now you have to go to the movie theater and watch movies, and it's kind of hard to go do that. At least it is for me. I mean, you've got nothing but time. I mean,
Right, yeah.
once you lock up the Cultimac writer's cage and empty the droppings bin and fill the trough, like, what do you need to do? What do you got going on?
I should take a nap.
I don't know if the technology of movie theaters has come to this part of the country
Yeah.
where I am.
Yeah, you don't have a movie. Maybe they have a drive-in that you can go to or something.
Oh, the drive-in.
You know what? It's kind of mind-blowing. It's like, if you could do this at a movie theater, then why couldn't you just pay $10 a month for a service that shows you up to 3 of the newest movies at your house? You know what I mean? If you want to see a movie theater movie at your house, they charge you like $20 or $30 to do that at your house. But how come they can afford to charge you $10 to see the movie at the movie theater, but if you want to see it at home, it's like $30? This makes no
Because
sense.
of
I think they have
popcorn.
services like that.
Popcorn
They're
and
called
sodas.
Netflix.
But they don't get the newest releases. Like when the newest movies come to the movie theater, like they obviously hold those back. They used to hold them back for years, and now it's like 6 weeks. Anyway, look, that's it, Lewis.
You've had enough.
That's it. That's all I have 1 minute to be walking out the door. So I gotta go ahead and start up the music and say the usual line. That's all the CultCast we have for you guys this week. But the party continues. Me and Lewis, we're on the new Twitter, slugging it out. At least you see Lewis. He's just dropping elbows, dropping elbows. That's a new term. That's when you
I'll try
you
to
do that.
spell it
You
properly.
do that maneuver. And if you want to go to a place that's quiet, serene, relaxing, there's not a lot going on, there's like no one trying to talk to you, head on over to Mastodon. That's where Griffin is. Just Google Griffin Mastodon, boom. First thing that comes up, and you'll be like being at a dinner with Griffin. Like there's not gonna be anyone there but the two of you. It'll be like a nice, peaceful dinner together. But
Home of awkward silence.
lots of peaceful silence there. You'll feel like you're in the Apple Vision Pro in one of those environments. All right, that's it. I want to thank everyone for listening. New episodes of the CultCast come out every Thursday night. I keep messing up my exit here. Thank everyone for listening and hanging out live. And we'll see you guys. It's gone. It's just completely gone from my brain.
You lost it in the turn.
Next time, I just can't remember it anymore. It's completely gone from my mind. I feel like
God save the queen, man.
you read my mind. That's gonna be how I wrap up the show going forward. You know what I mean? Maybe not. All right, everyone. Oh my goodness! Look at all those likes we got this week. My plea for more likes. It works.
Are you looking at the wrong video?
Oh, don't jinx us.
Bye, y'all.